Hmm. So I get asked this question, I think very frequently, especially from people who have not been to the Middle East. A foreigner or an Indian. Almost all of them ask me this question: Well, how does UAE treat its expats, or how is life in UAE? So I thought I would answer this question, and if any time anyone asks this question again, I can at least share with them this link. So I'll try to give you a unbiased opinion as to how UAE treats its expats. Okay, and I'll try to keep it balanced, both the sides, and you can let me know if what I'm saying is true or false. Now I'll give you an actual true story that has actually happened, but not in UAE, but to give you the example. Now let's call this guy Mark. Okay, Mark was this guy, Western expat, who came down to Pattaya. Okay, came down to Pattaya, and Walking Street, the famous Walking Street, where a lot of bars, pubs, go-go bars. Go-go bars is where you can pick up girls. Okay, so he wanted to visit Pattaya, the famous red light district, Walking Street, and check out how life is as a new experience. And when he came, saw a lot of beautiful girls, a lot of nice shops, and a lot of people standing in, people trying to welcome him in, and because he was a tourist. As he was walking, suddenly he saw one bar, a couple of nice girls over there, and he stood there for some time. These girls are really attractive, petite, young, look really cute and hot, and they say, come, and one of them smiled at him, and his eyes just met hers, and she looked different from the rest, and she smiled, and really small. He was a big fat guy in his 50s, and this girl is maybe hardly 16, 17, 18, whatever. And she smiled at him, she grabbed his hand and said, come, and then he went into the bar. And everyone welcomed him, treated him nice, gave him a complimentary drink, and they were serving. And this particular girl who was smiling at him, kept serving him and making sure that he was kept happy. And she really looked stunning, huh? Small little thing, long hair up to her buttocks, and she was wearing this tight, neon orange kind of top that was just like a cover here, and one that shows your butt cheeks, your half bum or whatever you call it. I don't know what you call that. So she served him food, alcohol, whatever, and he really liked her. And then we realized this is a bar, and he can take the girl out, he can rent her. Obviously he has to pay the bar its charges. It's called a bar fine. They will charge 2,000 baht, and then he can take the girl out for a night. So he was more than happy. If being a foreigner, he didn't mind it. He paid 2,000 baht, took the girl out for a night. Okay, it was 2,000 for just one shot until you climax, and 5,000 or 6,000 or whatever for the full night. So he told her if she kept him happy, he would pay her more and keep her for the full night. She said, okay, fine. So imagine, he's big, she is so small, and he took her. They went to the hotel room, and she really took care of him. She not only, was sweet with him, and they went, she took him to, let's have a shower together. They went to have a shower. She gave him a good bath. She took care of him. They both had a shower together. Then after that, they made passionate love. Then after they made passionate love, she she still didn't stop. She was talking to him romantically. She was massaging his feet. She was making him really feel special, and she was like totally naked, and she was taking care of him. And he found her to be the most beautiful, gorgeous thing ever. So that was the first night, and he decided, okay, I'll pay her for the full night. And the whole night he was sitting, talking to her, whatever, you know. And she slept on his chest, and, you know, he put her to sleep. He really cared for her. Then next day he dropped her. And then the following night again he went, passed by the same place, and there she was smiling again, very excited. And she asked him to come again. You know, obviously, okay, fine. He went in again. And again he spent, again he took out for the night. And she started to be very happy with him. She started to be very fond of him. He became very fond of her. And they started to like each other a lot. Very soon, he would come every single day and take her out. And one day he even told her, don't go to work, let's go out for the whole day. So she took a day off from work, and she dressed up in a like Sunday best. And he took her out to the beach, he took her out everywhere. They spent time. And she didn't go back, you know, he wanted her not to go back to work again. So she took an off again. But she told him, like, you know, I'm earning, and if I don't earn, he said, don't worry, I'll take care of your expense. And he told her, whatever salary you're getting, I'll pay you per month, plus I'll pay you a little extra. So he would take her out. They would go for sightseeing, they would go to restaurants, they would go tourist destinations. They were having the most incredible time of their lives. Very soon as they started to get closer and closer, and then, you know, being a foreigner, he had 1 month visa on arrival. So instead of 1 month, then he decided he would extend his stay in Pattaya. And instead of 1 month, now he renewed for 3 months. And, you know, they continued their relationship. Very soon, he got so close to her that he started taking photographs of her and him and putting it on social media and sharing it with his friends. And obviously people were skeptical, and people told him, see, listen, you know, you need to be careful. These women are trained professionals how to, you know, trick you and ruin your life. But he said, yeah, fine, I'll keep an eye. However, whatever he did, wherever he took her, she was very honest. She wouldn't take any money without his permission or consent. She would always ask him money. She would always do housework. You know, they rented out a small place, and she would cook for him, clean for him, everything. She was like, wow, this girl is really amazing. And very soon, she introduced him to his family and introduced him to his friends. And then when he realized she's introducing me to her family, he introduced her to his friends. And then she put his profile on social media that they were together in a relationship. He put her profile on his you know, on his social media, and that they were in a relationship. Soon, you know, he's in his 50s. He decided, you know, if this relationship is working, why don't we take it to the next level? So after a few months, he renewed his visa again, and now he decided, okay, I might as well get engaged. All his friends told him, see, listen, if you don't know what you're getting into, these girls are trained professionals. When you don't have any money, they'll throw you out. He told him, see, listen, stop it. You're being negative. You're just bad-mouthing. You know, just stop it. But people didn't stop. His parents, his friends, his relatives, even the so-called experts, and people told him, see, listen, even I had a relationship. I burned my fingers. You're making a mistake. So he finally got so pissed off. He told him, see, listen, just because you had a fucked up relationship doesn't mean I'll have. You didn't know how to handle your relationship. So he started blocking and deleting such people who didn't understand his point of view and who were trying to ruin his happiness. So, you know, this went on for some more time. Finally, on the due date, they got engaged. You know, it was really romantic. They had a great engagement. They had a wonderful experience. Hey.
went to the bar.
Ah, okay. They had a wonderful experience, and then it was a great thing. It was like a photo finish, like a dream come true. A beautiful engagement, good guests, and he told everyone, "See, you said it's not going to work out. It's working out." And after a few more months, they got married, and it was an amazing, lavish wedding. And as per Thai tradition, he gave her 1 million in terms of as a dowry. He bought her a house, everything great. So they were happy. Now, obviously, happily ever after proved the critics wrong. All these losers were speaking negative. And he even told people, see, true love does exist if you search. Even though she was working as a prostitute in a prostitute bar, today she has happiness. So everything was happy. So now they were married, they were staying together. However, if you remember what I told you, he was in his 50s. She was hardly 18. And, being 50s and being overweight, being big, and obviously you can't be healthy forever, right? After a period of 6-7 years, he started to develop health complications. He had diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol, and his knees were weak. He obviously couldn't do exercise. He had lower back pain. Things are not working out for him well. And then, his job that he had as a consultant. At some point, because he was not able to perform up to the mark, he got laid off. And after he got laid off, he had his severance, so he didn't have to worry about it. So he decided now he's going to stay full time, as a family man. However, that was short-lived because now when you don't go to work and you whole day at home and, you get bored. So obviously he wanted to do something. He tried a business. It didn't work out. It failed. Then he tried another business. Tried to make it work. It failed. Now, the tough part was money was only going. Money was going. And he was trying to make things work because he was always an active guy. And one fine day he decided, okay, maybe I need to team up with someone. And so he got a new partner. They started out a new venture. It was working out well 1 year, 2 year. And then one fine day, this guy cheated him, made off with the money, and now this guy was in serious trouble. He lost all his savings because of this business. And, his expensive lifestyle, now he couldn't sustain it because he didn't have a job. And on top of that, his health issues. He had to take insurance, which was expensive, trips to the doctor, which was a problem. And now cash was running out faster. Cash was not coming in at all. Soon he had to cut down on his lifestyle. Before he had a nice villa with a pool, and so he had to take an apartment. Before he used to always go out to the bar, to the pub and have good time. Now he couldn't do that. Before he would take his his wife out to all these places and show off on social media. Now she had to be a housewife. And when in the initial bit, when you have a relationship, it's very romantic. But as the relationship goes on and on, it stops being romantic. It starts getting a routine. And then obviously, when the romance is no longer there, when they say the 7-year itch is done, or the honeymoon phase is over, obviously you become rude with each other, you complain and all that. And given the age gap, 50, now he was 50, 60 versus she was hardly in her 20s. They started having fights, arguments. And she, being a young girl, she was addicted to social media. And being beautiful, she used to get a lot of guys chatting with her, and he didn't like that. So they started to have differences of opinion. And very soon he started to get hospitalized frequently because of his expenses. Because of his stress. And now money started to go down, 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 to the point where now he couldn't spend any more money. He told her that we'll have to live, very meager, and she would also have to help out. And now things started to go back to us, as they would fight and argue every time. He wasn't able to pay her the amount of money that he used to give her before. So obviously, he kind of lost that respect that he used to have. And obviously now he is older, fatter, and whenever he wanted to have sex, she was not in a mood, and they would fight and argue and all that, but he still loved her. Finally, it came down to the part where they would fight and argue almost every single day. And now she didn't want to be at home, she didn't want to talk to him, she didn't want to do housework. She was always hanging out with her friends and talking to her friends, and he didn't like that. And as they were fighting, arguing, one fine day she decided, I had enough, fuck off, I don't need to take your shit. And when she talked to him that way, he slapped her. She said, fuck off, fuck you, and this and that, and she went off the house. And he was like, yeah, fuck you, I don't need you, and this and that, and I have enough money. Now remember, she's married to him legally. So because he threatened her and this and that, because things are so bad, the romance was no longer there, she finally contacted a lawyer and told, I want a divorce, and this man is treating me bad. So being a citizen of the country, the law was on her side. They had a court case. He had to inform a lawyer. His stress levels were even more. And it went on for some time. The court ruled in her favor, and he ended up having to give half his money, everything, to her. Okay? Now for him, half his money, he needs to spend money on his expenses, on his health, on his insurance, on his lifestyle. So she took the money, and for her, in US dollar, when you convert, it's a lot of money. So she took and she went off. He was left broken with nothing. And now, at 65, he had no money, he had no job, he had no friends, he had nobody. And guess what? He found out later on that this girl went back to the bar, and now she was working there again. Now she is searching for a new guy. And lo and behold, before you know it, she being in her 20s, she found a new guy. Found someone in his 30s. And once again, her romance started again. Her life started again. And she was in the whirlwind romance of a new relationship. She deleted her Facebook with him. She deleted all the memories of him. She had a new profile, new life. This guy, broken, dilapidated, embarrassed. His friends just looked at him and said, we told you so. The people who had corrected him, whom he laughed at, they just kept quiet. It was way too late. Now his friends are no longer there. The corporate world he once worked had moved on. He couldn't get a job anywhere. He just didn't know what to do. Now he had no money, no friends, no nothing. And then the biggest shock of them all, to stay in Thailand you need money. And he didn't have the money. So Thailand told him, it's a very simple thing. You don't have money, you can't stay here. And he had to leave Thailand and go back to his home country. And today he's in an old age home, no friends, nobody, nothing. And he's just under government care, in a wheelchair, waiting for his death. Well, this girl is enjoying herself, still having a ball of a time. And by the way, that 1 million that he gave her, the house that he gave her, everything is with her. He built everything for her. She is enjoying her life. And yes, she has a new boyfriend. Now, this old man is what an expat is. This girl is what UAE is. Now, you might say, oh, UAE is like a fucking prostitute. No. Stop. It's a very simple deal. It's a very simple deal. When a guy goes to a prostitute, it's a very simple give and take policy. I pay you for your services, you keep me happy. If you don't have the money for the services, the girl will not keep you happy. Now it's your stupidity to believe, or your illusion, that she loves you, she cares about you, she wants you, she'll be with you forever. That's your illusion. And then you go through a bias, a cognitive bias, whereby you believe whatever you want to believe. You believe, oh, she truly loves me. Oh, you cherry pick out of 20 examples, you'll pick up the 3 that make you feel, yes, I'm right. You ignore all the other parts of the evidence that prove otherwise. And then you fight with the entire world and tell them, no, you're fucking wrong, you're a loser. This is not how my life is. This is the same thing what people in UAE do, right? Cherry pick the examples. Oh, he succeeded, I can succeed. Oh, see, these 3 examples, they treated me well. See, the 7 examples, no, it's okay. You fight, you argue with people who disagree with you. You just see what is happening currently. You don't look far ahead. You don't think that today you're useful to the country, so they're keeping you. You don't think that tomorrow, when you're useless, when you don't have the money, when you don't have the skills, when you're not able to contribute, they'll throw you back. No, you don't look that far. You're just looking now. So when the fuel is over, when you can't put fuel in the car will stop running. When you can't pay the girl for her services, she'll stop serving you. And she'll go to a new master. When you as an expat, you're no longer useful to the country, why will the country keep you? You're not a citizen. You don't pay any taxes. They didn't give you anything in writing that you'll be here forever. So, you'll say, oh, I pay taxes by indirect expense. No, that's not legally tax. That can be thought of tax, but it's not in paper, it's not legally tax. And even if it's tax, they can say it's an expat tax. What do? Nowhere did they say that you're going to be here forever. They can say sweet sounding words, like how a girl says, I love you, I'll be with you forever, no matter what. You know, when you are in the honeymoon phase, I'll die for you, I can't live without you, I'll eat you every day, I'll drink your this, and I'll put my tongue there, and you can put your tongue. All that in the heat, you know, in the heat of the moment, you'll say. That's not reality, man. See, UAE life is good as long as you're useful, as long as you have good health, as long as you have strength, as long as you have talent, as long as you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and contribute. The day you lose your job, the day you don't have money, the day you are useless, the day you can't contribute, and unfortunately that is the day you're most vulnerable, that is the day you're most helpless, that is the day you need a friend, that is the day they'll throw you out. And when they throw you out, like all these other people who just look and say, I told you so, nobody's going to help you, nobody's going to be there for you, nobody's going to care a damn, because they have their own shit to take care of. And then, just like this old man now, life has moved on, jobs have moved on, people have moved on. Now he'll not get a job anywhere. Now nobody remembers him. Nobody wants him. He's useless. So he'll just lie in an old age home on other people's mercy. Same thing is going to happen to you as an expat. When you go back, nobody remembers you, nobody wants you, nobody will care a damn about you. And then what do? Cry? Complain? It's over, right? While Dubai, like that girl, Dubai will move on. Dubai will get another new young person. Like that girl, that bar girl. She'll get a new lover. She'll get a new boyfriend who'll again pay money and take care of her. Same, UAE will welcome another new fresh blood. Enthusiastic people, committed people, dedicated with fire, energy. And they will move on, and you'll be a forgotten relic who nobody will think, talk about, or be bothered. And then, as you go back with nothing and nobody, you'll just be sitting there waiting for your death, regretting life and thinking, what a mistake did I make? and there's nothing you can do. That exactly is life of an expat, a normal average expat in UAE. If you don't make the move, if you're not calculative, if you're not smart, if you're not sharp, you're fucked. That is why when I consult people, I evaluate them. I tell them, say, listen, we'll focus on your brand, make maximum money, no loyalty to anyone but yourself. You'll market, you'll sell, only yourself. And that's how I teach and train them and help them succeed. And that's how they make big money. It takes time. It's not easy. It's not an overnight thing. It's not like, oh, okay, I talked to them and they became money-making machines. No, it's a process. If it took me time, it'll take you time. Like they say, no, Rome was not built in a day. You can't suddenly 30 years or 20 years of doing nonsense, you can suddenly become money-making machine. So this is what life is in UAE for an expat. You tell me if what I said is right or wrong. I'd love to know your views. And remember this much, when you factor in day-to-day expenses, school for children, education, hospital bills, day-to-day groceries, rent, which is a major chunk, water, electricity, car expenses, loan, credit card, whatever big salary you're getting, end of the month you look at your wallet and fuck, where did all the money go, man? I earned such a big salary. Where the fuck did the money go? People only show a big image on Facebook. Big image. Oh, this is the beast. Welcome to the new member in my family. A car that you fucking bought, a depreciating fucking useless asset. Oh, the beast. Oh, welcome to the new member in my family. Or they show off a expensive holiday. What the fuck? Who the fuck you're showing off to? Oh, see my life in UAE. Oh, see, I'm in a yacht. Oh, see, I'm on the beach. Oh, see, I'm in this expensive shopping mall. Why don't you show how much fucking money you have in the bank account here? What the fuck are you doing for? Likes? Comments? Praise? You fucking stupid. And then, when you lose it all, oh, where are my friends? Where is the true friendship? Where are people when you need them? Yeah, where the fuck were you when others needed you? This is not charity, this is a business. UAE is all about business. You're useful, fine. You're useless, fuck off. That's as far as it goes. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. I'd love to read what you have to say. Alright? This is me signing off. Take care.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by a fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Macedo is the best.